Okay. Alright, so we should be good to go here. I'll give it a few minutes to see if people join or not before we start.
That big bitch who uses cloth for attacks, that fight sucked.
So that's one of those fights to where, like, it's visually it's great, but the mechanic they introduced.
No. Visually, it's great. The area's music is fantastic, but I could not guess how to block or dodge the charm attack that fucking saved my life. All of that was flukes.
Can you block the charm attack? I didn't even bother.
You can.
Did you not get the Pictos that makes you immune to charm in the same area?
No, I did. I just didn't bother to try it up because I already traveled so far and it takes so long to get to her.
You know that once you get to the flag, you can just fast travel to any flag in the area, right?
Oh, you can?
Yeah. So you can leave areas, come back, fast travel to the final flag, and then be at the final section. You don't have to, like, just stay there. See, I'm concerned you didn't know that. Alright. Well, so... Oh, go ahead.
See, the good thing is, I manage my social links well enough, and Verso got some.
That individual story with her gets wild when you find out, like, her motivations a little more in depth. She's she's pretty gnarly about that shit. But at any rate, all right. So, well, no, you'll get a kick out of it because you kind of gave me shit for a similar premise, so I think you'll get a kick out of it when you find out more about her a little bit. Alright, so Death Battle released a new Death Battle. Simon the Digger versus Kyle Rayner. Gurren Lagann versus Green Lantern. So, to preface this one, I've never even seen Gurren Lagann. The closest I've seen to Gurren Lagann is the girl everyone knows about. And I do know something about Kyle Rayner. I'm actually vaguely... I'm like lukewarm familiar with Green Lantern's lore. I think Green Lantern's lore is probably one of the better DC story branches. I think Green Lantern actually has a really cool story branch overall. So I'm decently familiar with Kyle Rayner. Yo, so I was wondering if you guys were gonna react to this one. Hope you've been having a good night. Yeah, I have.
And I've seen Gurren Lagann once, and I know nothing about Kyle Rayner.
Alright, fantastic. So we both know the same amount about the characters we haven't looked into. So
yeah, we both give as much about a fuck about this matchup as we possibly could.
Yeah, this there's no beef here on this one.
Simon the Digger,
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and
So off that
spells to
premise
find out-
alone, could we have replaced one with Johnny Joestar?
No, Kyle, because Johnny couldn't compete in a wheelchair.
Who would win a death battle?
Nah, just upset that Tussac Fall would
Deep
reckon.
underground, Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simon. He was there too, I guess.
Simon was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt.
Really?
Until the day he found the core drill.
A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagann. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity. scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann!
With Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower and capable of making any weapon they can imagine.
Including missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course...
Drills! Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills.
I'm not sure if I would agree with the premise of it being the coolest mech just off design alone, but I mean, like, it sounds like a pretty good mech overall. I don't know if it beats a Megazord, but you know.
And everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Bureku! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality. What up?
With Gurren Lagann's awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait. Shit, was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simone's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simone who found Lagann, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attacked.
Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics.
No, like, you know, I would like to say more, but again, like, I don't know, I've never even seen this fucking anime.
Look, the only thing that I can say from my memory of it, if I'm remembering correctly, is his brother died because he also low-key kind of, like, was jealous of him that, like... Because his brother was the one who's going out with the woman that you know from the show.
Yeah.
And so he also had a crush on her, so kind of, like, semi let him die, but also semi didn't.
Oh, so is this one of those cases to where it's like, it became like, there's a lot more emotions there going on behind the scenes that may or may not have led to him wavering.
Yeah, like, you gotta remember, this is, I think, like a 27 episode anime. Like, this shit goes like light speed.
So, I was always under the impression that the older brother, who I've already forgot his name of, because I've never seen this anime, was Simon. It's not until this death battle was announced where I found out
No.
the older brother died.
It's the little kid. Yeah. It's the little kid. He basically takes his glasses and basically models himself and his look after his brother.
Yeah, that's where it's like, I was always in the impression that guy was Simon. It wasn't until this death battle I found out, oh, it's a separate character. And
Again, like, not to be a prick about this, but it is Simone. It's not Simon.
Whatever. Fine, Simone. Whatever. So this is one of those animes to where the main character gets overshadowed by the side cast then.
Not overshadowed, because... So this is the one thing that they won't tell you. They make it sound like he pilots the big mech that's going to be used in the fight alone. He doesn't. It has an entire crew of people.
I hope you're wrong about that, because if that's the case, oh, nice. Ooh, interesting.
This would be the equivalent of if they were to use fucking... I don't know the series whatsoever, but I think you'll get the analogy. It's like if they were to use Spock in a fight and they gave him the Enterprise. And they said that he ran it by himself.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Oh, that doesn't seem
Because the
really
way he beats
fair.
the anti-spiral, and the way he transcends in power is that he's basically having the hope of humanity right on his shoulders, but he also has like the lies of his friends and the motivations of his friends empowering his will.
Is this another thing where it's like fucking Giorno, where it's like we're gonna give him humanity's will, even though that's technically not how that should fucking go?
Not Giorno. You mean Ren?
Right, Ren. Sorry, Ren. Giorno was fighting fair that
Yeah.
fight. I don't know.
This is one of those cases. This is one of those cases where it's like if you haven't seen it, this sounds all up and up. But if you've seen it once, you understand that a lot of this is a lot of army fights and a lot of them like trying to band together to help each other. Now, the part one that they show with him and his brother, that's fine. They control those two things individually. It's when they start getting into the big one that fights, like, it's the size of a galaxy, where it has multiple people, like, at the helm.
Ooh, because see, here's the thing.
Like he
I've never
drives
heard
it.
that. Yeah, he pilots
Like,
it, but
drives
other
it, but
people pilot it with him, basically.
Okay, so he's the pilot, but there are a lot of people who do, like, a lot of the other things, like manage the weapon systems, manage the energy system, and everything like that.
Ooh, that's oddly convenient. Wait, so hypothetically speaking, if you kill everyone but him, how effective is the mech at that point?
It would still be effective because it runs off his willpower. It just has a lot of other people to do some of the other stuff in it.
I don't know shit about Gurren Lagann either. The only thing I know was his brother died. He had the battle, that anti-spiral god thing at the anime was insane popular and was the reason people watched Kill la Kill in the first place. Well, it was made by the same person. It's okay, dude. It goes with the central theme of teamwork for the series, basically. No, like for a story, that's fine. But if you're having a versus matchup and a motherfucker needs a whole fucking crew to pilot something, that's not a one-on-one anymore.
Well, this would be the equivalent of having, like, this would be the equivalent of having the Megazord being piloted, but like if they were to try and like give the Red Ranger the, like, you know, the big combiner Megazord.
Yeah.
And they said that he was the one driving it.
Yeah, that's silly. Did Simone the Digger beat Anti-Spiral hand to hand? No, I believe he used the drill. Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann were made by Studio Trigger, but the last one was that Pump Studio Trigger to the stratosphere off of his success. Oh wait, Studio Trigger? You mean the guys who made Cyberpunk Edge Runners?
So like, so a common theme with I think you've noticed this by seeing some of the clips. It's a very nice looking show.
Yeah.
But it's like Kill la Kill. It looks very nice, but you're either invested or you're not.
Kill la Kill was an anime that I think I dropped on episode like 7.
I dropped it like episode 4 or 5. It just wasn't doing anything for me.
It was.
And at that point, I was just like super burnt out by like super fan servicey stuff. So.
Yeah, exactly. Studio Trigger has many series off his belt. Kyle's on the money. You either are invested or you can see through the bullshit. Yeah, I think around the time Kill la Kill was happening, I think both Akame ga Kill and Darling in France was coming out. I didn't watch Darling in France, actually. I think I heard that like a bunch of the characters got cucked in it, and I was like, I'd rather not watch NTR fetish porn.
Well, surprisingly, out of the three that you said, like, Akame ga Kill's actually fucking fire, and it only became non-canon in the last 4 episodes.
Do you know what happens in the canon? Because I know what happens in the canon. I actually read the rest of the, like.
I read the manga. Yeah, I know what happens. I know when it goes non-canon.
I like to believe that when he turned into the dragon, he still smashed.
Let's put it this way. You know the dude who uses strings?
Yeah.
Oh, he did not have a good fate. I think the way he dies, he's tortured, and the last thing that happens to him is I think he has both of his testicles destroyed.
Yeah, but he if I remember correctly, he dies in a similar fashion to the anime. It's just that
Not necessarily.
not
This is actually
not in the exact way he dies, but he still kills the sun if I remember correctly. It's just that he dies differently. Because I think the way it works is like he has like one last string in his throat, and he uses it to like slice his head off or something before he dies.
I think it was like the last string he used was a special string for a last resort, but it would kill him if he used it.
Yeah. No, Akame God Kill is a very fucking... It's like a Game of Thrones-esque manga, except like...
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot. Like, I might go back and rewatch it at some point just for fun. Because I remember the manga version of As Death versus Akame being way better than the anime version.
I don't remember the manga version of As Death versus Akame. Because
they took certain beats from the manga fight, but they changed some things around.
True. That's fair. All right, Gurren Lagann movie is canon to anime and manga. So in the movie, Simon kills Anti-Spiral with hand to hand. You telling me he didn't use a drill to kill him? Seems a little anticlimactic.
Are you telling me there's a fucking movie that goes along with the 27 episode series?
Is that movie a retelling or is that like a separate story?
It has to be a retelling. It has to be a retelling movie because I remember the final two or three episodes being just the fight with the anti-spiral.
Alright, let's continue.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simon would use as he led Team Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral.
Yep, see?
And this is when Gurren Lagann
that's
gets
insane.
crazy.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simon can create portals to different realities.
Spiral power, exponential adaptation, self-repair, force fields, energy absorption, reality warping, arc, Gurren Lagann, city size, thunderbolt, chariot kick, space-time shattering, burst, spinning punch, super galaxy, Gurren Lagann, moon size, full drill zone, spatial temporal axis, simultaneous shooting. Hello, Melissa.
And higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Tengen, Topa, Gurren Lagann, comprehensively big, contains super spiral space, probability missiles, super Tengen, Topa, Gurren Lagann, mech size, greater than the observable universe, infinite spiral power, drill size, greater than the observable universe.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a planck.
I'm sorry, fucking what?
Hang on.
All time, space, and dimensions, all within a planck.
Okay, you're saying something about a Planck time coefficient?
Instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Okay, so this is something that's going to piss you off as well, is that if somebody was to ever tell you about this character and you ever try to power scale it, the only thing you have to watch is literally like the last 4 episodes.
I'm actually curious for a minute. Is that actually what it
Because
says?
this shit only exists in the anti-spiral fight. Every other fight in the series, none of this shit matters. None of this shit exists.
Hang on. I'm actually going to okay, so we're going to do this to Japanese.
I was gonna say, can you flip the motherfucker around?
No, because what we're gonna have to do is then we're gonna have to go back to Google Translate here. And then we're gonna have to switch this over to English. Alright, so what does it say?
Fantastic.
The universe is always branching and simultaneously progressing in places that cannot be perceived by humans is the way of thinking, also known as parallel universes. In the story, it appears as a chain of universes that are born the moment they are perceived. One is captured in the universe space they have recognized and cannot return to the original universe space, which is the greatest trap laid by the anti-spiral. What the
That's
fuck?
not what it says. That's not what it says at all.
The fuck is this?
Is this one of
Did
the
they
times?
fuck up their scan?
Is this one of the times where the statement might be in the guidebook,
No,
but they've got the wrong fucking scan.
They fucking that's the wrong fucking scan. That's not even
They
cool.
fucked up.
No. Hold on. Deep L. Maybe Deep L's got this. Okay, here we go. The multiverse. The universe is always branching off.
It doesn't say anything about the fucking lasers. They've got the wrong fucking scan. No one did their fucking homework.
Yes! Oh, that's beautiful!
Did they just assume that because it says something in Japanese, people are just going to be like, "Yep, that's all there."
Oh, that's fucking great! The
Oh,
one
that's
time
fuck up.
they play a Japanese fucking guidebook statement, and it's the wrong fucking one!
Oh, that is such a fuck up.
Oh, Death Battle editors, man. They're good, but sometimes you get a treat. Oh, that's fucking great. Well, no scan, so I'm going to assume this is fake. No scan was provided.
Wow, that's fucking brutal.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that's fucking great. Alright, so Death Battle's lying here. I need a scan to confirm. I'm sure the statement exists. I'm going to say that it's
I'm
real.
going to assume. I'm going to assume if Cyber was here, I'm sure he would tell us the statement is real. They just put the wrong fucking scan up.
I'm sure Cyber would say something to that effect as well. Cyber's probably sleeping like a good boy. Okay, let me reach. That's fucking. Chef's kiss. Okay. Again, Kyle's on the money. This doesn't exist in the other episodes. Only in the final batch, so it comes out of nowhere, but is expected by Studio Trigger. Can you look up the Final Drill guidebook? Yeah. Let's look up final. Fuck. My fucking keyboard's off by like a few inches. So it fucking it ruins all my spelling. Yeah, it's a real guidebook. So it's like,
Look up a PDF.
this is an anime only series, right?
As far as I'm aware, so is Kill la Kill. Unless they made a manga after it.
Well, no, I just want to make sure because this is an anime only guidebook. Yeah, no. If a PDF exists, I'm not going to look for it for all that much. I'm going to assume the statement is real. I'm going to give Death Battle the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to assume the statement is real because they were confident enough to put a Japanese scan up.
Now, to be fair, they've been confident in the past of putting wrong scans up that don't say what they want to say in other fights as well.
Oh, fuck, that's great. That's great. All right, hang on. Let me read some of the comments. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Studio Trigger has many series on his belt. Yeah, Kyle's on money invested or done in France. Their boys. They purposely lowball DX for this, unlike what they did for the DC fights. Oh, so they lowball DC. Okay. Again, Kyle's on money. I don't know about the time feed, dude. Only the space one. Goddamn Death Battle. They won't bring up the fact is the only reason that Simone was able to fight the anti-spirals because his friends gave him their spiral powers to fight it in the fight. Okay, so Simone's amped to fight anti-spiral then.
Okay, so I know what they're going to say in the analysis, and with the context that I've given you and what they've said, I think you're going to have a bit of a fucking problem.
Bro, how is it even the death battles I don't give a fuck about? They're leaving shit out. Actually, no. I'm going to give credit to Death Battle here. No one mentions this. So I think they're assuming the position that everyone's just okay giving him the amp. Because that's what everyone talks about. That's what I'm going to assume. I don't want to have to watch Gurren Lagann. Look, I'm sure it's a fine anime, but I don't want to have to watch it.
You literally don't. You literally don't. All you have to watch is literally the anti-spiral fight.
Oh, it gets worse. They take only part of the dimension scan for Kyle not reading the rest, which gives more. Well, at least they gave us a source of the guidebook. Can you look up the Foundry guidebook, right? Anime only series. They have a manga both for and Kill la Kill. All Gurren Lagann's novels, films are canon to the anime and manga. Okay, so the anime came out first, and they got a manga adaptation afterwards, or is the manga just like an adaptation of the anime situation, where it's like they're 1-to-1, or does the manga have more? There are manga, light novels, movies that are canon to the final fight. Oh, is it because there's a multiverse that, like, everything's technically canon to the final fight with the anti-spiral because it all converges against the anti-spiral? Is that the situation we're going with here? Where everything's a part of the multiverse? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Oh, thank you, Death Battle, for fucking not giving a fucking scan the one time you're supposed to.
It fucking doesn't pay all stuff.
Also,
fuck that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wouldn't you just assume dimensions in this case just means, like, other universes? Since those will technically be separate dimensions? I'm sure, because, like, I know, this guy gets talked about as, like, go on.
I think they preference dimensions, because if I remember correctly in the anti-spiral fight, he is being dragged through dimensional layers.
Yeah, but like
that aren't.
Well, all right, fair enough. So there is something there. They use this to give Simone a no limits fallacy. Yeah, this is no limits fallacy of the character. But I was under the impression it was like DMC where there was evidence to work with, and it sounds like there is some evidence thanks to Kyle's interjection.
So the problem that I think that we're gonna have going forward is they try and treat dimensional superiority as in terms of AP, but I think you, me, and Mangler are coming to the realization that, like, just because you can interact or do something on a dimensional plane doesn't really mean anything.
Dimensional scaling's weird. It's gotten to the point where you do have to take it by a case-by-case basis. I think if you're called from the fifth dimension, like, let's use Crash Bandicoot, for example, and you don't demonstrate any higher dimensional properties, I think at some point we just have to be like, maybe you're just from a different place called the fifth dimension, you know?
Well, using that, like, that's the case now for Crash Bandicoot, but back then for Entranced, he is supposed to be a fifth dimensional being. Like, you can have both scenarios where it's like, I'm from the fifth dimension and a fifth dimensional being, but being a fifth dimensional being doesn't really mean anything unless you demonstrate something. Like, it shouldn't just be this automatic accumulation of, like, power.
Yes. You should have some demonstrations of higher superiority. And to be fair, you don't have to demonstrate all of it. Just a couple things here and there, maybe. Like, I don't know, you see reality as fiction's a good one to work with. That's an easy one. Anti-spiral.
Everything created by this arbitrary fruit is an illusion.
Jobber Godot has a better video on how strong Simone the Digger is. Yeah, but I don't trust Jobber Godot at all, based on what I've seen with his JoJo videos. I'm sure he knows what he's talking about, and I'm sure it is a better video than this. I'm sure he has his sources outlined. It's just that his conclusions will not be the same ones I reach, but if he has evidence in his video, then I'm sure it's fine.
Well, it's also like, it's also about a verse that neither of us give a shit about to even, like, try and figure out the truth.
He's not right.
In a blank instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving.
Wait, hang on. Why is the wrong statement? Oh no, there it is. I didn't realize that they put the actual thing it's from.
Yes. So with this Death Battle, they have done a good job sourcing it for sure. So that's good. I just wish he uses all film, movie, and manga to scale Simone. They only used the dimensions in the mortal multiverse of DC. They don't use the other realms that Kyle transcends to become White Lantern. Bro, did White Lantern really get shafted here? That's crazy.
Possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
Okay, let's stop them right here.
This guy doesn't.
If you're already saying that these lasers are hitting at every point in time, just cut the shit and just say that, like,
Well, hold on.
you know, you're already using dimensional tiering. Just fucking say immeasurable.
Well, hold on, because their statement says it happens in a pictosecond. So technically, he's not moving faster than time. That sounds so wrong, but technically. Okay, so just to be clear, the lasers never demonstrate this shit, right? That where it actually attacks everything throughout all of time and space, because reality still exists after he fires the attack, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm going to give it to them, but I'm just going to fucking say, this shit was in DMC, never would have flown anywhere. This shit was in half the fucking games? Fuck, this shit's in God of War? Wouldn't have flown anywhere. All I'm going to say with that shit, if there was ever a time to call something hyperbolic, this one might be it. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to give them the feat, because that's my standards. Just going to point that out. That shit don't sound right. Just going to be honest about it. They just say they do. It's never shown to do that. Yeah. Only time I've had in power scaling history of my entire 10 years of power scaling where I'm here looking at this shit like, okay, hold on, fellas. Let's take a step back for a minute. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That ain't it, Chief.
So from what I've been able to look up, I don't know if this is accurate, but the entire final fight with the anti-spiral is like fucking 8 minutes long.
Oh, no,
it's either 8 minutes or it's an episode of the anime.
Okay, hang on. Dark Lord, why are you watching this death battle if you not give a shit about both characters for? Because we've reacted to every death battle this season. You think I gave a fuck about some of these death battles? You think I gave a fuck about every one of these death battles? No, absolutely not. But we started reacting to them. It was a fun thing to do. And we're continuing the cycle here.
It's fun to see them dump effort into one side and not the other. Or it's fun to see where they fuck up and how they try and catch themselves.
I'm just being honest here and pointing out these obvious fucking issues. Because in most of the series, that shit would not have flown. I'm gonna have to ask why that flies for...
I think even when they did Archie Sonic, that didn't fly.
I haven't seen the Archie Sonic one, but if Archie Sonic ain't getting those same statements, I have to ask a question. What's going on here? All I'm saying.
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit...
Is that what it says?
I should have just let the fucking Google Translate page open.
You can't, please. They can't fuck up twice.
No. They directly ripped it off the image. This one has to be correct. Archie Sonic versus Dante. Also, to answer your question from earlier, if Simone is as strong as everyone claims, he should be Dante before Dante can actually, ever have any hope of catching up to him. Same with Archie Sonic is a little different, though. I don't know enough about Archie Sonic to make that claim. Alright, so this should be a slam.
Archie Sonic is very dependent on, what you buy, I believe.
Okay, here we go. An all-portal attack that fires the Mega Vortex Cannon. Okay, so this one is about the Mega Vortex Cannon. And Maelstrom Cannon fires as probability variable munitions in full barrage attack. Defeats infinite number of enemies across all time-space dimensions from the near past to the near future. Okay. An all-portal attack that fires the Mega Vortex Cannon and Maelstrom Cannon of the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann as variable probability projectiles. It destroys an immeasurable number of enemies in all time, space, and dimensions from the near past to the near future.
Alright, good. Now, can we now admit that because Google Translate got that completely right, people can shut the fuck up about people using Google Translate? Also, this just shows that like the first skin they used, they just fucked up.
Yes. Which just goes to show that the scan probably is real. Which is fine. You know, that's what I expected. Alright.
An innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally can.
It doesn't say innumerable; it says immeasurable. Which, again, I don't know why they have such a hard on.
It actually says infinite.
For like shit when they could just you're using dimensional tiering. Just say immeasurable speed. Just cut the shit down.
Actually, it says from the near past to the near future. So technically, it can't shoot through all time it can't shoot through all time. Only close to your point in time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It even says what episode it's from. It's from episode 26. And there's 27 episodes. So yeah, 25, 26, and 27 are the fight. Is the fight, I think.
Okay, so basically he can perform every possible attack within like a certain amount of time from when the fight is happening. Okay.
Cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to
Bro, just say it's fucking immeasurable.
escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth, an attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different, and after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more
Wait, hang on. Is this a mental attack, or is this a physical multiverse that's being made?
realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
It sounds like a mental attack.
Okay, so in their eyes, the infinite Tsukiyomi would be just as powerful.
Don't think about it.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different, and after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even
In the drama CD, an alternate lore genome seemingly manipulated 20D space, but this is a translation error and most likely refers to manipulating a two-fold dimension.
more impressive is that this labyrinth was
Okay.
11.
Okay, if this is if he's breaking out of something mentally, then this means nothing. This is great for mental hacks. This is great that he can break through this level of mental hacks. Like, I don't know any character that has this level of mental hacks. But this means nothing. He doesn't transcend shit.
Well, hold on.
And dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself.
Oh, they're actually saying dimensional tiering for once?
The jump between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension
Oh! Oh! Hello, Xavier.
adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own.
I have a manuscript. It's one I read.
It's a physical fucking multiverse, or is this a fucking mental attack?
Okay, so can anyone confirm if this is a mental attack? Or if this is a fucking, an actual multiverse he's absorbing? Can anyone confirm this? Like, we seem to have some Gurren Lagann fans here. Is there any information on this?
Own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann, and that author's spiral power.
No, what was it? Why don't you Google the actual anti-spiral and go to the Gurren Lagann wiki and see what his attack is stated.
Anti-spiral. Okay, here we go. Tengen Gurren Lagann. Okay, personality, history, powers and abilities, anti-spiral power, reality warping, complete control of his galaxy, he was created upon his bird. This is why Lord Genome claims that he's the universe itself is very first showing probability alternation mind manipulation. Anti-spiral is capable of sending the consciousness drifting throughout the multiverse via a technique developed called multiversal labyrinth. Alright, let's do this. Often incorrectly translated as multi-dimensional and extra-dimensional labyrinth. It is a technique developed by Anti-Spiral where he traps the consciousness of the victims by manipulating the multiverse and exposing the victim to infinite possibilities. As possibilities are recognized, more alternate realities continue to branch. Anti-Spiral has dropped numerous Spiral warriors up to this point and forced them into ruin. Even when a person realizes that the universe they perceive as a trapped universe, they become trapped in another universe upon recognition. A being can become free of the trap, but they will continue to become trapped again and again. This goes on infinitely. The nature of the multiverse is that the universe are always branching and progressing simultaneously at the same time, where people cannot recognize it because the possible futures are transformed to the universes as they are. The physical bodies of said victims are being left on their original places, as Anti-Spiral only sends their consciousness drifting through the infinite possibilities. As long as the target is intelligent, they cannot escape this technique unless they gain recognition of their true selves inside the space and are able to invoke Spiral power. Simone escapes the multiverse labyrinth after being made aware of its origin by the spirit of Kamina, then projects his very own Spiral power to integrate the multiverse and rescue the members of Team Gurren from the endless sea of possibilities. Despite common misconception, the multiverse labyrinth is a technique rather than a location. The already existing multiverse is exposed to the victim, having their consciousness drift throughout the endless possibilities. The multiverse labyrinth allows the victim's consciousness to drift through the possibilities they think of to actually experience other universes. Without this technique, those other universes still exist but remain unexplored. The final drill data book suggests a number of multiverses are more than one, such as Simone's multiverse, Yoko's multiverse, along with many multiverses from the Spiral Wars of the past. Who, the guy responsible for the scripts, believes the interpretation of the multiverse has advanced so rapidly in the last few decades from 4-dimensional to 11-dimensional, making the multiverse compatible with the M theory or corresponding 11-dimensional realities. These are the parallel worlds in which the Parallel Work series, aside from episode 8 and 9, take place. The idea of the multiverse follows quantum cosmology mechanics said by Lord Genome in episode 23, where the universe only begins a fixed reality when observed and heavily relatable many world interpretation. It sounds like it was retroactively retconned to be higher dimensional. But it does, so it is a mental attack, but he's going through the proper, he is going through the multiverse. The multiverse itself is real, but only his mind is going through it. Also, they said he absorbed himself, right? Because that's not what it says here. It just says he invokes Spiral power to escape. Are they lying? Are they lying, or is the wiki leaving out information? He absorbed every version of himself? Okay, I'm gonna trust you, Sparta.
Made his fictional Simone real, adding another to the mix.
Wait, if every human being has Spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough Spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies.
Gurren Lagann makes multiple references to brain. I think it's brain theory, or it might be brawn theory. And higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with the author's statements asserting these galaxies are in fact universes.
Around like frisbees. Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simone's power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simone turns his thoughts.
Despite their high-dimensional nature, an interview confirms these constructs, including Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, could manifest in the three-dimensional real world. Yeah, that would just be out-of-versal technically. Simone was able to fight at Anti-Spiral because his friends are giving him their Spiral power. Yeah.
It's into reality, letting him.
Okay, let's just say that it's dubious whether or not he is or is not actually like 11th dimensional, but it wouldn't even matter for the sense of the fight. Because unless you're going to state that he gets his crew, he should never have the ability to transcend that far.
Yeah, I agree.
And all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing.
Okay,
he
here
can
we go.
also.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is their position. Hang on.
Okay, so he needs a temporary amp that was given by his friends before he can stop having co-pilots.
With it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the
Simone is stated in interviews and directly shown to be the strongest spiral power user. As such, he's capable of the same feats and abilities as his crew.
Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being
So this just feels like it's one of those fights where they're being disingenuous and leaving shit out so they can have a character they want to win.
Wait, hold on. Right. This is that series where the guy's wife dies at the end, right?
Samurai Jack?
No. This was the original one, right?
Maybe. But none of these powers would matter because he wouldn't get these powers unless he's already preamped.
Does he lose spiral power? I'm just asking you this question.
Because he still has spiral power, but he only gains this level of power, and he's only able to do this shit after he breaks out of the labyrinth because of his friends and gains power.
So you're telling me this character has all this godlike power, allegedly, couldn't keep his wife alive? Seriously? All this bullshit, couldn't just will his wife to not disappear? Curious.
Raised at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the...
What's the explanation given for her dying now? I'm actually kind of curious. Because if he can will everything into existence, surpass dimensional boundaries, and all of this shit, what's stopping him from keeping her alive? What was the actual explanation given? Oh, with the anti-spiral gone, I can't survive. Bitch, spiral power surpasses everything. Not a problem. Give me 2 hours.
Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the death of the anti-spiral, I think spiral power disappears.
Okay. Well, no, it can't because she keeps herself alive with spiral power. Unless it fades away with time. But even then, you're a god! Why can't you at least fix that one? Something tells me he doesn't have the power he's saying.
Big question. You can recreate universes at will. Recreate your fucking brother.
Recreate your brother. Recreate a universe where your wife survives. I'm just saying, bro, all this power that he's allegedly has.
This is one of those problems of when but this is what me and Zim talk about on streams when it comes to if you're gonna make a character, don't give them all this absurd shit because then it becomes hard to keep your narrative consistent.
Oh, I didn't realize we had such a jokester in this death battle. Oh, that's great.
This is a prime example. This is a prime example of what me and Zim say all the time, where it's if you're going to create a character, don't give them everything under the sun because then it becomes hard to keep track of what they can and can't do.
Hey, Kyle. So he absorbed every version of himself across the multiverse, an infinite number of himselves, and they couldn't realize that their wife might die if they kill Anti-Spiral, so they didn't even put a failsafe in to save her. Literally infinite capacity for knowledge. Couldn't think that far ahead. The ability to attack, allegedly across all time and space. Couldn't see a future where his wife dies without Anti-Spiral.
It's all right. It's all right. Because if you're a dumb shit and you multiply that by infinity, you're still a dumb shit.
0 times infinity is still 0. Look, all I'm gonna say. This shit. If this was in DMC, God of War, any of these series, none of this shit would fly. All I'm saying, All I'm saying, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just giving honest thoughts here
Ones and
based on what's
zeros
being
that
presented.
make up every possible outcome in reality.
Every possible outcome. Deadpool, I need you to shut the fuck up. Because the more you say, the stupider this sounds.
Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have
That's
spiral
not
power
impressive.
whiz,
Not what everything
when
else
the
you said.
fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simone evolved one more time.
Into Super Tengen Toppa
That's
Gurren
more shit.
Lagann.
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simone and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
I thought anti-spiral was supposed to be like nothingness, like stillness, right? Why did they even go around killing people? Because wouldn't they just be like brain dead the whole time? I know they're technically not, but isn't that what they're supposed to represent? Isn't that what everyone fucking says?
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe. Meet the indomitable human spirit.
Proving Kamina's words prophetic.
Hello, Kaizo. Became the Simone that believed in him, pulled the moon back into orbit, struck all of space-time at once, but couldn't save his wife. Absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, couldn't save his wife. Withstood the infinity Big Bang storm. Shattered a drill trillions of light years long, couldn't save his wife. Defeated Viral, 4 Supreme Generals, Lord Genome, the Anti-Spiral, still couldn't perceive his wife dying across all infinite timelines.
That Simone's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simone chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
No! The spiral's still real! They created an energy counter to the spiral power because spiral power will eventually blow up the multiverse if allowed to be used freely. Ah, okay. So Simone's an idiot. We're all on the same page here. We're on the same page here. I got you guys. I understand. I'm on the
The
same page.
universe is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You...
Okay, so let's be clear here real quick. If this Kyle Rayner tanked Anti-Monitor, it's like 1A versus 1C. Kyle wins. So they're giving Simone basically no limits fallacy. Wait, okay. So, just to be clear,
The way they've established this is he's technically outer without saying he's outer.
yeah, that's the consensus on Simone, right? That he's outer, right? That's the consensus for him. Because this is all no limits fallacy and up the ass, and they don't accept this for DMC. So I'm assuming that they accept it for him because, you know, obviously they will accept it for him because it's not DMC. It wasn't Kyle, it was Kilowog that did that as a Green Lantern.
might hate him, but you gotta respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet, and with what remained of his strength.
Okay, so to be as clear as possible regarding this story, that got retconned. Hal Jordan didn't lose his will and go mad. Parallax, the entity of fear, ended up taking over his body at some point in that storyline, and that's what caused the events to occur. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was the retcon.
He gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient box can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality.
Yeah, a light retcon or at least giving more information on why it happened. Yeah, but they don't mention that, which again is not fair.
And erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light,
Listen,
but totally...
I like to think I'm good at power scaling, but it's shit like this where it's like, this is above my pay grade. This is where I tap out.
immeasurable. And
This
the
is where it
rings
stops
have an
being- this is where it just ends up being ridiculous.
artificial intelligence that operates just
This
as
is where it
fast,
stops.
automatically
When it comes to
protecting its
characters
user.
like this, and when it comes to Simone, these are the kind of characters that we don't like doing because it's not fun at this point.
It's not only not fun, like, you can't properly show power like that consistently without getting to some, like, no plots, you know?
from danger.
Like the time that Boozer killed
The Green Lantern ship stated his ring protected him from the effects of the crisis on Infinite Earths. Dr. Ubix also survived the crisis by using the sucker stick, an analog to the Green Lantern.
Wog survived being erased from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earths.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited
The Speed Force is above dimensions because it's above the mortal multiverse.
only by their imagination.
Well, Hal may have had the greatest
This is where I wonder what the fuck the author was thinking.
willpower in the Corps. Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most
I love
recognizable
comic book characters and the broken as fuck scaling. Good for you,
ability
Jeremy.
is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has
Okay,
12.3.
So this is just like a small, like a small nitpick. If your weight is being compared to a length of age, that's not a weight that matters. I'm sorry.
I believe they're referring to the actual entity at that point, who I think is stated to, like, extend infinitely, but it's weird.
3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's
After relinquishing the power of Ion, Kyle modifies Green Lantern ring to have emergency reserve or backup power. It will never fully run out, and it cannot maintain, even if it cannot maintain a 100% charge. Okay, I'm gonna say take that dimension scan, Zim. The full scan says that what they know just for just the universe he is in, not the whole multiverse. This one?
Wait,
Hang on. One thing we do know, however, is that it happens right here. Happened if you have a limited grasp of fluid space-time. Earth is the nexus for the collapsed realities, the linchpin that holds the current universe together. There are signs of theoretical math that imply the universe is layered well beyond the known 11. Wait! Their own scan says that it's beyond the 12.3 dimensions.
This scan alone shows that Kyle exists above what Simone transcended.
It wouldn't even matter because even if you just go with 12.3, Kyle's stronger than Simone. To the point, and it's an infinite
It's a higher level of outer.
Okay, so I can already tell what they're going to argue. They're going to argue that Simone can just keep coming back. But that's a no limits fallacy. We have a cap for Simone's power at 11-dimensional.
So I know what the result is. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they say. You're on the right track. wrong thing they argue for.
I'm gonna say this right now. Being able to tap into the Speed Force already makes him faster than Simone, because Simone moves in a picosecond or whatever, or a plank second. He's faster.
0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3
And this is he's right. This is just the
That
Green Lantern. This isn't including the White Lantern
is
version.
the
Ooh.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Okay.
Grimm's only downside is that it's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further male characters' development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced
That
off
recharge only applies regular Lance's Kyle, not Ion Kyle or White Lantern.
against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm, which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space.
Okay,
connecting him
stop.
to others.
How does he fucking lose again? Because the purple ring alone would shut down everything that Simone does, because it would literally sap his willpower to 0. The thing that powers his shit.
Well, Kyle, we're gonna find out.
The final one was the Sapphire Light of Love.
Who's that?
With it, he can trap and
So I don't know what her name is, but she's Hal Jordan's girlfriend. And because writers don't like men being happy in stable relationships, they're like on and off again, like battle with each other. It's weird.
enemies within crystal matrices.
Note that these are all multiversal conceptual emotions.
Control their
It doesn't matter. The White Lantern like exceeds all of
mind.
this. By, like,
But
a
Kyle
mad-
only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other lantern in existence.
Bullshit.
Stop.
Bullshit.
If he's empowered by every living creature in that multiverse, that means he's empowered by the strongest forms of like dark side and all that should be able to crush like
Yeah.
enemies stronger than what Simone is.
So
There is no reason he should lose this. Even then, he could just turn to the fucking purple. He could just turn to the compassion power and suck his will. There's literally no reason he should lose.
So they'll probably. Well, I mean, you've seen the ending. I haven't yet. He's seen the ending. He knows Simone already wins, and I guess I do too now. But they'll probably argue that since Simone was able to deal with a different mental attack that's completely different in every way. Don't forget, Simone did not save his wife. That he can resist that too, even though they're two completely different powers. Just the fucking. Bro, I don't even have a stake in this fight, and this already sounds bullshit.
Far stronger than
I
hell.
don't even give a shit, and I'm mad.
It's the energy of
How
every
do I not give a fuck about these two
Power
characters,
battery
but I'm
across-
mad about the result?
the multiverse.
Not only can
Note that Simon is life, so the stronger he gets, the stronger Kyle would
Kyle
get.
instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation. Like
Kyle has held his own against Parallax and the Green Lantern, and Parallax has fought Time Trapper, Spectre, and Anti-Monitor. Spectre? Anti-Monitor? Ooh, okay. Those are...
They're basically saying
Like the
that
anti-Monitor.
Simone is stronger than the
So it's
top
not to-
tiers of fucking DC.
Totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation
He threatens Darkseid, like the full power Darkseid? Wow. This is weird. This is one of those cases to where, like, this is one of those cases where, by the research Death Battle has provided me, I'm already disagreeing with their matchup. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute, because they say...
Oh, you want to talk about some of the feats here? Because one of these feats here of him surviving this shit, unless there's extra context, stronger than anything Simone could possibly do.
Contained a supernova, survived the Big Bang that created the DC universe, outsped the laws of physics, which means he should be faster than technically Simone's attacks, but you know, whatever. Surpassed Hal Jordan's power, resisted the anti-life's equation domination, mastered the emotional spectrum. Wait. Remember the previous scaling they gave DC? Yeah, this is weird.
Okay, look, when it comes to defeating people, with the list of people that he's got under his belt, you don't need Wonder Woman there. What's that for?
So, I want to talk about this very briefly because it's one of the funniest things about Simone as a character. Because I haven't read that many Green Lantern books, but the one I read was a Green Lantern book about the first Lantern coming back to reality. So, the first Lantern is all of the emotional concepts, surpasses all of them. He is them effectively. He finds fucking Kyle chilling out. He's all like, "Hey Kyle, fight me because you're a White Lantern, so you should be on my level." So Kyle goes White Lantern, and he can't even scratch the guy. And the guy's like, "All right, you're fucking worthless." Just like snaps his fingers and basically one-shots him. Sinestro and Hal Jordan, with the full might of their emotional spectrum, are able to fight the fucking first Lantern. Where's the anti-feats, Death Battle? Where's the good shit? For context regarding the first Lantern, Kyle later ends up surpassing his previous White Lantern state, and I think ends up being the first Lantern in the fight later on, but Sinestro beats him to it with just Parallax. Crazy how refined emotion exceeds the power of whatever the fuck this bullshit is, and then gets exceeded again. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Like its counterpart, the anti-life equation is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion.
The reason Kyle lost the first
carrying
fight was
the universe
because
on his
Paul
back.
Doom
But
used a
ultimately,
technique he
the
never
only
encountered
way to
before.
stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving
He
rings of
splits
unlimited
his
power.
power, and he beats a being that's essentially just as powerful as he is.
Yep.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
For some people who
There
weren't sure
is
if they could
no
do it.
scenario he loses.
So right, yeah. So remove this ridiculous NFL. Essentially, this isn't a fight. Because Big Bang here is not universal. Let's be clear. If it's creating the DC universe, that'd be creating like all the DC multiverse.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings. Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's
It's fucking ad.
Well, I just want to see what they were going to say. But so they actually re-uploaded it?
It's time for a death battle!
All right, I'm not rusty at all.
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
So I'm not going to criticize the fights because the fights are just there for fun.
I'm told I'm bad with authority.
Tell me about it.
Four?
Okay, they're having fun with it.
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens! Take it to Gurren Lagann!
Did he just turn into the fucking form that they need? Fucking an entire crew of people.
There's no Superman like that.
I'm a digger.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know!
So, no, it's not the same thing. It's just a fight animation.
So,
The digger!
as fun as much as I can tell that they're having fun, can they not can they make the fight look more equal?
Yeah. How does he not even like beat the life
think
of
about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future.
How do you calculate
Choose
will
life.
like this? Like, this seems so fucking
Have faith in
absurd.
the Simone that believes in you.
Super taken to Gurren Lagann! My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Free!
No, it's a good fight. It is. I feel like
The
this is
super weapon wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day, in blackest night.
I feel like
No
this is
evil
one of the
shall
death battles they
escape
should have
my
just
sight.
called a tie. To
Let
be honest
those
with
who
you.
worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
Let's see you grit those teeth!
You'd make a good lantern.
Simon of Earth, you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
KO! For the guy with the snazzy sunglasses!
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standard.
Look, I understand for the purposes of a death battle, you kind of have to give a result at some point. But I feel like if and now to be clear, based on their own research, there was no reason Kyle should have lost this matchup in any way, shape, or form. So I can't wait to hear the explanation. But before they do, it's okay to just say the fight's inconclusive, you know? I think a lot of power scalers have this mentality where if they make a versus video, they have to give a definitive winner. But there are some matchups where you're like, hey, listen, I think this guy would win, but it's a toss-up for the most part. It's really going to come down to what you find more compelling. Now, you could say it's every versus matchup, but it's not.
Well, there are fights that you can just look at and it's just like, hey, these two just equally fuck each other over and there's no way to determine who would win.
There are some fights where you're just like, either or could take it. So I'm going to say this guy, but this guy has just as good of a chance of taking it. It happens. There are some fights that are just going to be inconclusive by nature because they're so fucking close. I feel like this would be one of those fights. At least, well, because that's
not from the episode they showed.
No, but you know.
Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks like
Kyle struggled to erase aberration who destabilized the natural laws of a universe after a long enough time. In comparison, the anti-spiral had complete control over the laws of countless universes and could erase fundamental concepts, yet could not erase Nia from existence.
Okay, this is something that I need to ask. When in the story is this? Because you've shown shit for Kyle that makes that not true.
So Kyle can do everything but can't save his wife? Curious. But also, or not Kyle, Simone. So, depending on when this happened for Kyle, if this happens earlier in his career, it doesn't matter. He's gotten way superior since then. Way superior.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter because we know this is wrong because they literally say that he can threaten True Form Darkseid, the Spectre, the Anti-Monitor, and during the White Lantern form, he gains all living power of all of those beings. So this is just fucking. This doesn't matter.
that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor.
Wait, so what's stopping Kyle from absorbing Simone's, like, just raw power in general with the orange ring?
No. What's stopping... Because as far as I'm aware, in Gurren Lagann, they've never come up against a power that fucks willpower. It's always been a dick measuring contest of who has more willpower. They've never fought somebody who could just shut that shit down.
Can any of the Gurren Lagann fans step in on that one?
For both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality.
Simone's reality warping could evolve to counter hypothetical source wall imprisonment. In a similar manner to the multiverse labyrinth, several DC characters with similar abilities have escaped the source wall in the past. I'm playing Mordecai, so I have more willpower. Hear that, Lowy? Simone's reality warping could evolve to counter hypothetical source wall imprisonment. So then we just give Simone no limits fallacy? Is that the position here? I better see this with DMC when DMC comes back, if it ever does.
But the problem is that as he's doing that, let's say that he could break out of it. Okay, that's fine. But he should not be able to achieve his final transformation without everybody else's willpower. And then you have the White Lantern, depending on how shitty you want to be, the stronger Simone gets, the stronger he would get. Because he'd be getting his power.
I am very surprised Death Battle is giving a no limits fallacy to a character. They would not be the people I'd expect giving no limits fallacies.
They did that to Superman before, but the problem with this is not
Superman.
if they were to reword this more accurately. This is not Simone versus Kyle. This is Simone versus DC, because they are essentially saying that he could beat anything in DC.
Yeah. Kyle's super right. In fact, that's why Jesmon GX from Digimon can wipe the floor with Simone, because using his special sword, it can make him lose the will to fight.
On a multiversal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and
I
Kyle.
want to point out most characters in Death Battle have actually fucking had higher dimensional scaling. This is the only time Death Battle has acknowledged it, because apparently this guy has it so blatantly stated.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember,
No. Again, just to be clear about the scan.
That's 1.
There are signs in theoretical math that imply the universe is layered well beyond the known 12 1/3 dimensions. Here, let me move my fucking camera so you can read that fucking portion. They are blatantly fucking lying about what this scan is saying. I don't understand what it is about fucking Death Battle, man. Fuck, man. I know Wiz and Boomstick don't write the script. I know they have a team of researchers, but at some point, someone had to be like, hey guys, we're giving fucking Simone this no limits fallacy. Should we also acknowledge that technically Kyle is unquantifiably higher in dimensions beyond what this is? No? Okay.
It's the next thing they say that's gonna piss you off.
All right, let's hear it.
0.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
and remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However,
Both series could potentially have larger scopes to their cosmologies, but most interpretations would favor the DC multiverse being larger, given equal leeway.
that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
What? Hold up! Correct me if I'm wrong. Anti-Spiral and Spiral Energy share the same, they're on the same level, right? So Anti-Spiral wasn't dimensionally superior to the energy source used by Simone, right?
No. So this is the problem, right? Is that the way they started saying this means at the start of the fight, Simone would not have been able to tank any attack that Kyle threw at him, because in their eyes, he would have been so dimensionally superior, he should have one-shot him even before the willpower. And even then, this willpower shit is so no limits fallacy, it's up the arse. Because what they're going to say is that due to his ability to, because of his will, he should be able to transcend where Kyle sits in terms of dimensionality. Which, again, they don't mention he only got to the level he did because of multiple people.
Incredible. Actually fucking incredible.
No, it's like, do you see why I made it a point to tell you that he needed an entire fucking crew to achieve that?
Yeah.
Because by all rights, he should not have access to this shit. At best, they cap him at 11, and he should get one shot.
Okay, I'm gonna let the episode finish, but I want to be clear. I have no stake in this fight. I don't give a fuck about either of these two characters for the most part. This is wrong.
This is a robbery.
Deal with Spiral Power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
Okay.
No, he did not. No, the fuck he did not. Why are they blatant? They mentioned his crew several times throughout his analysis. Why? I know why they're doing it, but I'm going to ask the question: why are you not stating that? Why are you not saying that it took his entire crew to power him up as well?
Gurren Lagann fans, just to be clear, even after he frees his friends, he needs their spiral power to fight anti-spiral, right? He can't do it on his own. He needs his team support. I think they're arguing that by the end of the series, Simone could do that shit on his own, so he could surpass all levels of Infinity. Can't save his wife.
You can't make that assumption. You can't say that he could just jump several infinities by his old age, because that's never shown. It's only shown that he's able to do that after he gets a fucking temporary amp.
So, to be as clear as possible here, when you're discussing the potential of a character increasing their strength, that's only viable under the conditions the character can survive more than 2 seconds in the fight. You want to know, Kyle? You want to know? I just noticed they have not mentioned that indigo power once in any of the text or anything.
No. You know what? If they're gonna go this far, the day they use the Undertaker in a death battle, I want him to have every tag partner he has ever had. I want him to have The Rock. I want him to have Stone Cold Steve Austin. I want him to have Kane. And I want them all to be under this exact same jurisdiction as they're giving now.
I am now of the position that Simone the Digger...
This is highway robbery.
Simone the Digger is a Giorno victim. Because Gold Experience Requiem would reset his rule to 0. That's all.
The only way you... The only way you would argue against it is, like, at worst, like, he would speed blitz. But before he even gets to that point,
it's already reversed.
He has to fight from base.
Can anyone confirm, does Simone resist causality manipulation? Like, can anyone just confirm that? I'm hearing a lot of bullshit, but I'm not hearing a lot of causality manip.
Confirm this for us, because they mentioned a hacks that Kyle has that would have just ended the fight immediately. I'm not wrong in assuming that, like, Gurren Lagann has never had to deal with willpower manipulation, right?
So New Hint said they have not. Simone the Digger versus Joker from Persona 5?
Yeah, so he's fucked.
Unfortunately, it looks like Dark Lord left earlier. Shame.
You can't even say that, like, oh, well, that wouldn't matter for how powerful it gets. It's like, that's not how resistance to hacks works. If you're never shown to have a resistance to something, it doesn't fucking matter how strong you are. You're going to be hit by it.
It wouldn't matter anyways, because the indigo rings, I think, almost work instantaneously anyways. So once they affect once they affect Simone, he wouldn't be able to fight back against it because he would already be under its effect. I want no one to be distracted by the fact that they are claiming this no limits fallacy, having basically every power under the sun, having ass fucking guy could not save the love of his life.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact of, like, they've given him a no limits fallacy, and they've also negated to mention the fact that he only gets access to his higher tiers of abilities and strength when he has people there to empower him.
So to clarify again, we have no dog in this fight. It's just with what they have told us and shown us, this was not the logical conclusion.
All right.
More than enough.
By their own way they're measuring this, Kyle should have one-shot Simone at the very start of the fight. There should not be any discussion of of Simone getting stronger, because there would be no getting stronger. He should just be one shot.
It's very rare that Death Battle gives you a Death Battle where by their own evidence alone, they should be wrong. It's very rare. It's happened a couple times, but it's very rare. I did not expect that to happen in the new season.
Enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since Spiral Power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone,
The anti-Spiral has regeneration comparable to Spiral Power users, but Simone overcame them. He can do the same against Kyle's healing and resurrection abilities, including those that work on a non-corporal level. Source?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. When they say he can heal back on an informational level, that's great, but that's also just existence erasure in general.
So he can heal back. He can heal on.
The only way you reach a tier above that when it comes to existence erasure or coming back from existence erasure is if you kill something and you erase its entire concept as if it never existed and no one knew it existed. That's the only way it's better. Otherwise, it's the exact same thing.
Okay, I want to be dead serious for a minute. What's the explanation for why he can't save his wife? Because if he can heal at this level, what's the explanation given? Is there ever an explanation given, or do we just let it happen?
If he can heal at this level,
yeah,
then he's also capable of creating shit on that level.
I call bullshit. Anyone who's read it,
you're right. You couldn't have just regenerated your brother?
Nope, he's dead forever. Man, Simone sounds like a total fucking tool. Imagine having infinite fucking capacity, or imagine achieving infinite knowledge of your own existence and still being a dumbass. Actually impressive.
Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on char.
Bullshit! As far as I remember, White Lantern rings don't run out of power. Can I get that confirmed?
Well, it's not gonna matter. Because they even say they've overcome this weakness by basically...
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
By basically saying that, like, his ring will always have enough charge that it will never just fully die.
Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate...
Okay, Kyle could theoretically maintain a charge by filling his ring with the energy of hope and life. However, even as White Lantern, his ring has been overtaxed and nullified, such as against Dr. Manhattan. Hey, hold on a fucking minute. You are not going to argue that Simone beats Dr. Manhattan from DC.
Emotions to reduce Simone's willpower. Simone resisting the Labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
No!
Bullshit!
No! Those are two different fucking powers!
That's what I was going to say. Those are two different powers.
Bro, no!
That's like false equivalency up the arse.
To clarify, the power that was done to him by Anti-Spiral would be information manipulation, not emotional manipulation or something to that effect. They are different powers. You can't just say because you resist one, you resist the other. That's not how fucking power scaling works. You're not supposed to make those assumptions. Man, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of this death battle, but this death battle's been a treat. Shame Cyber couldn't join in, but I don't think Cyber's very interested in this death battle.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset.
No, you are fucking not! You are not going to use Kyle giving up the life equation when Simone's gained his entire fucking cruise amp! No, you are not!
Forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality.
Oh, man! No fucking way does one character get the fucking team ramp, but the other guy doesn't. He literally scales to someone who scaled to them. It's okay. Fuck, this is so biased.
I want Gurren Lagann fans to understand this. And we've said this many times. We don't have a dog in this fight, but I want you guys to understand what they are saying. They are not saying that Simone beats Kyle. They are saying that Simone beats DC Comics in and itself. That includes everyone from Darkseid to Dr. Manhattan to the Spectre to the Anti-Monitor.
I want them to just come out and say that he fucking beats that he just beats the Presence. Come on, D. Come on, that battle. Say it. Say Simone beats the Presence. Just. Say he beats the Over Monitor.
I want people to understand this as well. Not only would they be saying this, but they would also be objectively saying that Simone would also whoop the dog shit out of Marvel.
What do you mean Kyle didn't jump Infinity? He went from the Mortal Universe, which is where physics is. He went past the Bleed, to then the Speed First, then the God Spirit, then the Monitors, then the Source Wall. What the fuck do you mean Kyle didn't jump Infinities?
No. What they're doing is they're saying that because Simone was able to basically step himself out and potentially give himself an 11-dimensional amp, that his willpower would be able to transcend dimensions. That's not even how power scaling would work. The best you would say, and the best that you could interpret that as, is that he gets higher into 11th dimensional. Yeah. You would not make that assumption that he leaps infinities. Unless it's ever stated that he can do that. You would never make that assumption.
You would have to provide evidence that every time he's getting stronger, it's infinitely stronger.
Every power scaler worth their salt, if you were to try that shit, would shut you down so fucking quickly, because that's not how that works.
See, when I heard he surpassed the dimensions, I was under the impression that, like, you know, Anti-Spiral just kept going up dimensions and Simone chased him, so to speak. You know, that's what I assumed. But no, he affected an 11-dimensional multiverse, which is a good feat. You know, let's give him the full feat. Good shit.
Admittedly, stronger than any character.
Number above 11-dimensional, you don't give him a higher dimension. That's not how that works. You say that spiral power caps at the highest dimension. Unless, of course, you have other statements to support your assumption. But even then, you wouldn't use that for a versus matchup most of the time.
No. He would get to the 11th dimension, and then any amp he gets from that point onwards, you would just say he gets higher into that tier.
To be clear,
you would not say that he unquantifiably smacks into other infinities. You wouldn't even be able to say that he gets into 12. You would never be able to say that.
Kyle is correct. I will state for the record, however, there are characters you can make that argument for, but they have a lot more blatant statements and a lot more blatant showings of it. Should it be used for a lot of characters? No. But I'm not seeing it for this character here. Hello, Devil. The inconsistencies here are very clear. Also stating it's willpower that beats the anti-life equation. That willpower would have to be equally dimensional with the anti-life equation. No, it's okay, though, because Simone just can surpass all dimensional barriers whatsoever. Simone can also apparently fucking resist abilities he's never demonstrated.
It's alright. I don't know how they did it. They made us angry about a matchup that we don't give a shit about.
Oh, that's fucking great.
And himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level.
Okay, I'm actually gonna ask a simple question then. Okay. So he merges with the guy who writes a story that makes the guy from the story real. Why can't he just make his wife real from his memories after she dies? I know I shouldn't care about that, but we're getting to a point where I need to know, why is his wife dead? He's basically a god. What, did she not fucking make him dinner the night before?
We get, so, by the way they worded that, are they basically saying without saying that they're making him like 22-dimensional because he merged with another version of himself riding Gurren Lagann.
They might as well. Although, to be as fair as possible, I don't think he's smart enough to do half this shit. I'm just gonna keep it a straight buck. I think this guy's fucking stupid. Hang on. Even then, Simone would have to transcend just so much to meet White Lantern Kyle. Also, dimensional hacks versus AP is a thing, so I agree being higher dimensional doesn't guarantee an auto win, especially considering opponents. Hey, how you guys doing? We're doing pretty good, Devil. How you doing? How's the kid doing? Also, let me know where I should cut when you have a chance. Yeah, I will. Sorry about that, Devil. Tomorrow I'll take a look at it. Zim, stop with the wife slander. Bro, the wife did nothing wrong. This is husband slander. This is 100% main character slander right here. The wife did nothing wrong. As far as she's concerned, she did nothing wrong. He's stupid.
Motherfucker out here making Homer and Peter look smart.
Damn. Well, to be fair,
bro, you ready for some shade? You can just hear Randy in the background saying, "Even that's dumb."
Well, to be fair, with you two guys, I can see the anger coming more from the point that they would do other characters dirty on their verses, but for some reason they gave Simone their cake and eat it too. I'm going to tell you why they did. They love Gurren Lagann. They've never said it.
You can tell.
But one of their friends, his glasses are are a homage to Gurren Lagann. They're big fans of Gurren Lagann. There's no way they're not.
It's not even that. It's not even just that. It's like you could tell from, and they've had a bad habit of it this season. When they analyze both characters before they go into the fight, you can tell who they favor going in. And this fight did not do a good job of showing Kyle holding his own. He always felt like he was on the back foot. Even though, from what the research shows, he should never have been on the back foot.
The way this fight should have gone down animation-wise is Simone should have been on the back foot the whole fight until the very end. Or until like the final fist fight after he uses his like uber spiral. That is how the fight should have been done properly. This ain't it, Chief. The fact that equaled Simone to Dr. Manhattan, actually fucking crazy, bro. Hey, Dr. Manhattan could bring his wife back. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't be surprised if they legit said he beats the one above all, Divine Creator in the presence. Bro, they probably, they want to say it. They want to say it. They won't say it, but they want to. If they had to, they would say it. 100%.
With everything that they've shown, they've literally said everything but he solos DC.
No, Zim, they have the DC map, but not the info that's on it that says the mortal universe is where dimensions are left behind. Wouldn't Dante still beat Simone due to DP and DE hacks? To be as fair as possible, while I could argue a sort of no limit similar argument with DMC because of Virgil's statement from POC, I don't like doing that. To be clear. But technically, I'm not seeing Simone resisting half the shit demonic energy does. All I'm saying.
Look, we joked about Giorno, but by all rights, he should never be able to touch Giorno either.
Nope.
Unless you go for like the speed argument.
Ringmaster also, yeah, Ringmaster's the guy I'm talking about. That's the guy who's their friend who does it. I think he actually showed up in the video for a line actually. I think he actually voiced a line in this episode. I think I remember hearing him. Okay, so apparently Nia's death was the final test Simone needed to prove his restraint. Otherwise, he ended up doing exactly what the anti-spiral feared exactly what the anti-spirals feared the spirals would do. No. No.
You know, going into this, we thought that this was going to be a short reaction.
That's so stupid.
It's just as long as some of the ones we actually give a fuck about.
Thank you, Sparta, for offering me the stupid fucking reason for why he doesn't bring his wife back.
This is literally like the reason. I don't know why. Like maybe Zim is hot about this fight for a different reason, but I am hot because this is just plain highway robbery.
Yeah. No, this is a beautiful example of a death battle where they tell you every reason why one guy should win, and they give it to the other guy for very lukewarm or massive assumptions. I'm gonna go back to the Sparta point. I know Kyle doesn't care as much about this, but I do. He killed the anti-spiral! Are there any left to judge him? Was the genocide not something they were worried about the spirals doing? Sparta, I need you to tell me, are there still anti-spirals around? Sparta, I need you to fucking tell me. Are there other anti-spirals? I need
Your
to
leader
know.
is your leader is dead. None of you can stand up to me. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. My brother and wife are coming back to life.
Hold on. There are not others? He fucking killed them! What the no fucking way!
He's held accountable by no one.
Oh no! That race I genocided had a fucking arbitrary as fuck position that I should follow, even though I fucking murdered all of them! There's a certain dictator in World War II who I'm not gonna name, but it's a no. I'm not gonna make the comparison, but there's a comparison in there of how stupid that would sound in a real life context.
There's three of them. There's three of them. Which one was it? Are you talking about the Austrian one, the Italian one, or the Russian one?
Many, and you can make this stupid fucking comparison for any of them. All those, an infinite number of himself, and not one of them was like, hey, why do we give a fuck? Were the anti-spirals not afraid of him transcending dimensions and genociding them? Fucking stupid. Fuck me, dude. It's so fucking stupid. Look, listen. I like happy endings, but I'm okay with tragedies. Edge Runners, perfect example. I'm okay with tragedies as long as they're done well. But when you give me a character who can rewrite effectively fucking everything, he is the arbiter of his own fucking abilities. What the fuck does the guy he just murdered in cold blood matter? Bro, he's not Naruto, where at least Naruto could be like, my enemy had a point. I tried to reason with them. I should learn from them. Anti-spiral, throw hands. I'm gonna genocide your speech. I'm fucking, oh my god, that's so stupid.
There's not even like a philosophical thing that he can stick to, because it's like, he's adhered to, why does he give a fuck about the opinion of the race that came to try and kill his?
So, by this logic, he should never have protected the human race because the anti-spirals were worried the spirals were going to surpass them and kill them in power. Because I'm pretty sure that's why anti-spiral went after them, because they were scared of their power. Why become powerful then? If you're worried, if you care about the opinions of the people trying to genocide you.
No, it's worse. During the fight, they were creating universes and chucking them at each other. So what is this arbitrary bullshit about having two people come back?
Wait, hold on. Guys, can you confirm? Is Kyle telling the truth? Were they creating those universes in their fight? Can I get confirmation, please? No, ain't no fucking way. Yes! I don't ever want to hear this character again. I don't ever want to hear about Simone the Digger ever again. I don't care what anyone says he scales to. This man is fucking brain dead. This man is fucking stupid. When you can rewrite the rules of reality, no one's morality matters because you dictate everything. You want to know what a smart guy would have done? A smart guy would have done? You're right, anti-spirals. I shouldn't abuse my spiral power. Let me fuck off to my own separate universe with my wife and brother. I'll bring my friends along
No,
if you want to.
no.
Problem.
You know what they should have done instead of acting on the rule of cool? If they wanted this to be like a philosophical discussion of whether or not somebody should or should not use their power to bring someone back, make that the fight. Make the entire fight about the anti-spiral getting it over Simone, explaining to him that he's worried about this and that he's scared he's going to abuse his power. Have it be an actual philosophical fight, because that's what this feels like it is. But this feels like they wanted philosophy in the fight, but they couldn't get their hand off their dick and want this big mech fight first.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna read some comments. I think I'm cooled down a little bit. Demonic energy saps willpower, establishes fear, etc. Yeah. Does Simon attack existence? Death Battle probably would say he would. Do not care. I could hear you guys rant about this all day. So Simone is a bitch that let his wife die to pass a test that didn't give a shit about. Wait. Okay. Fine.
We're literally mad about this because we're two people who work on stories and we analyze stories for fun. This shit is just so infuriating.
Okay, hear me out, guys. Hear me out for a minute. He can't bring his wife back. Why didn't he just keep her alive? What was the excuse for that one? Okay, you can't bring her back.
No, it's even better. No, it's even better. Couldn't he have just used his power to rewrite her existence so she could just never die?
Yeah. Like, what's the restraint at? Is the restraint bringing her back? Or is the restraint being fucking stupid? What's the restraint at? Exactly. Simone, before you kill me, you can't use more than 2 brain cells. Otherwise, you're gonna prove me right. God, his fucking brain cells are all they're all in last place trying to fight for first. No, there are no others. In fact, Anti-Spiral was the last one. I'm glad Simone realized that he should show restraint after genociding a species. I hate this character. I don't even know shit about this character and I already fucking hate him. He's so fucking stupid. As Ghost Rider should have gotten all Spawn's powers as he sent him to hell. He double dipped the amp. Ghost Rider got shafted by this logic. The joke was the Anti-Spiral was meant to finish the job. His race left unfinished, but humanity told him nah. Again, all these versions fused together. Not one of them could ever think about resurrection. Note that Simone fought the Anti-Spiral because they attacked them, and also they called the living species of the multiverse to stop spatial power from blowing up existence. And all the Anti-Spiral was doing was making sure that creation was still around so people could live. Simone said, no, we'll find a better path with no proof. And the Anti-Spiral pointed this out. Literally, by evolving to the level of fighting Anti-Spiral, you have invalidated this stance that you should follow Anti-Spiral's example. You've also proven that you are trustworthy and you can handle this power. So you are a fucking idiot. I hope this man's life is fucking worthless after his wife died because he deserves all the shit he fucking gets. Yes, who fucking wrote the story? Yes, Zim, that's the bigger joke. The Anti-Spiral was right. The thing is, because he intervened, he altered the result of humanity's destiny after Simone won the fight. No, the Anti-Spiral wasn't scared. It's because Spiral power is consistently growing and will eventually destroy everything because of that growth. Okay, so it's confirmed Mr. Satan greater than Simone's, greater than Marvel and DC, Lamau. Spiral power is innately destructive in that it constantly grows and will blow up everything if not cut down every now and then. Anti-Spiral do that so that everyone else will not die. Why didn't the universe die then? Rockin' Alice, correct me if I'm wrong.
No. Better question. Was he just unlucky choosing this Simone from the multiverse, or would any of the Simones he fought in the multiverse have ended up in the same result?
Aviator's got a good point there. It's fucking stupid when they give fucking characters all this power and they won't bring back someone from the dead. Listen, guys, I'm just gonna keep it a straight fucking buck. When I can rewrite reality, morality can go fuck itself. I want to bring someone back from the dead. Done. I want to fucking help someone out, cure their fucking disease, keep them alive. Done. Morality about fucking right or wrong. I write the fucking rules. What the fuck does it matter?
No, I'm gonna be very real with people. If I had powers, I would act exactly like fucking Hancock. Fuck people.
Like at least go.
And let's be very clear here. So would everyone else.
Yeah. Like, at least God of High School went with the, oh yeah, Wukong became God, so he just brought everyone back to life. Yes, because here's the thing. Bringing characters back from the dead it's always kind of cheap.
Yeah, because Jin Mori's not a fucking idiot, and once he realizes that he transcended the only mortal bound. So, when Mori Jin transcended his mortal bounds, you know what was his last act?
What?
He's literally like, I'm gonna say goodbye to all my friends, and then I'm just gonna become the god of the universe. So this is the last time I'm ever gonna see you people. But you're all gonna be safe.
Because literally, look, bringing back characters is always kind of cheap. But once you have a character who is so absurdly powerful that they can do basically everything, it becomes more infuriating when they don't do what you would expect a person to do.
The only way you can counterbalance this in a series is if Resurrection has a downside.
And if it did have a downside, I could just rewrite the universe to where it doesn't, but whatever.
No, I mean, like, in a normal scenario, in a normal verse that isn't, like, hacked to the fucking gills by one person.
Yeah. They've been doing that a lot this season, giving you their logic, and then when logic says X wins, it becomes Y wins, not X based off logic they provide. Zim, if you want a better version of this fight in a philosophical matchup like Kyle wants, one of the Gundams games that's featuring other mecha franchises makes Anti-Spiral fight all the protagonists as he questions them. Dude, in Dragon Ball, you don't have these powers and they bring people back like raindrops. Knew him what game? One person or race reaching the anti-spiral level isn't a problem. It's an issue when more than one starts doing it. Okay, so then what's the problem?
Yeah, well,
bring back his wife then. He's the only one who fucking reached it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the problem. Like, just to answer a previous question, that's kind of the problem with Dragon Ball in itself when it comes to Resurrection, is that, like, death means nothing in Dragon Ball. And the characters have kind of, like, especially in, like, Super, have come to admit that.
And that's fine, as long as it makes sense within the rules of your world. If you lose the stake of dying, that's fine, but you have to replace it or you have to make up for it in other ways. This guy's just stupid. Okay, wait, hang on, Rockin' Alice. One race reaching Anti-Spiral's level isn't a problem? Then why would they cull humanity then? If humanity isn't a problem reaching their level, why'd they cull it? In that game, the Anti-Spiral fights with the Gundam verse to the Getter Robot and Mazinger Z franchise at the same time. It's a pretty cool fight, way better than this one. Which Gundam does he fight? Most verse have it be paperwork. I remember seeing SMT5 where a girl's about to die from a disease, and there is a goddess that her whole thing is able to cure every disease. She doesn't cure her. That pissed me off to no end. Yep. Nah, it basically goes back to like the fucking... It's like when Final Fantasy has someone die, you know? Where it's like, listen... I know they just died in the story, but the story also tells me that Phoenix feathers are canon. So, get up.
Well, you also have certain characters who acknowledge that they exist as well. Actually, no, that's something that we didn't bring up for 16. That's so fucking dumb. They could have brought Sid back.
Because they mentioned Phoenix feathers, and Phoenix had the abilities to resurrect in that game. Yeah.
And Joshua is following his brother around like a bad smell, just not telling him. So Joshua, at any point, could have brought Sid back.
Because humanity wanted to spread it to others and wouldn't listen. Alright, Rockin' Alice, that's fair. I can see why Anti-Spiral would be concerned about that. Simone's still a fucking idiot because he killed Anti-Spiral and still cares about his rules.
Okay, so there are two verses. There are two verses that do stuff really well. Like, there's a character in Bakugan that gets the Infinity Core. Zim would know about this because I'm talking about it a lot in the group chat. You know what Waven does with her power?
What?
She brings dead people back. She heals the sick. She brings back dead meadows. You know, the things that you would expect to do with that kind of power.
It's amazing when a character actually realizes, hey, I'm going to bring back the people I care about. Actually, no, we know the Phoenix can't resurrect in 16 because Clive couldn't resurrect Joshua even with Ultima's powers. No, I'm pretty sure the Phoenix could still resurrect in that game. Because if I remember correctly, Clive technically killed Joshua earlier on, but Joshua survives because of the Phoenix powers. I think you just get one shot at it.
trash ass Phoenix. But there's another one. Like
Level
you
of
have
reality
Kronos.
to the life equation,
You have
and a
Kronos
level
from
of power
the.
Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by
Okay,
the
well, fuck then.
Well, no, no,
I,
no.
I was, I was, I was gonna give my final example before we finish.
Oh, well, go ahead. I just want to see how much longer they were actually going to explain, because we've been here for like an hour talking about like just how stupid this was.
So you have Kronos from the Tales series, and because we didn't do the cameo trip because took way too long in Tales of Arise, I'll tell you this now. Kronos is from Tales of Xillia, and when they encounter Kronos basically gives them a choice. You stop your scientists from doing dimensional travel, or I'll just fucking erase your universe because humans are shit, and if you don't, you guys are just gonna plunder each other, like left, right, and center.
Fair enough. All right.
See, it's an actual reason to threaten humanity.
end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life.
Simone.
There's no fucking way you can say you have more willpower than a lantern.
Greater rate of adaptation, superior regeneration, resist the emotional spectrum. Does not resist the emotional spectrum. They false equivalency that. Counter each other's abilities, weaker initially, infinitely weaker initially. So this is a one-shot at the start of the fight. Stronger at base, more previous to ring, counter each other's abilities, far weaker eventually. Literally no, because you're arguing for no limits fallacy. Animation and music was good. The research was fine. They just came to the wrong conclusion because they just ignored what the research said. I actually don't think the research for this death battle was bad at all. It's just that they prevented evidence and then just went to a completely different conclusion than what the evidence would give you.
Well, it's not even just preventing evidence. They prevented context as well.
Yes.
Because if they gave the context of how he achieved certain forms, even the dumbest people that go to their videos and think that they're super accurate would be like, that's not on, Chief.
How the fuck does Simone have more willpower than a dude that beat up the concept of willpower? Well, I know across the internet, at least on Reddit and other areas, power scalers are happy Simone won. So, as far as I know, no one's really giving this much backlash. Good for Death Battle. You know.
Yeah, but let's be very clear. Simone was always the more popular character, and Kyle is a very niche character.
When it comes to Death Battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Now, for a matchup that I actually do care about and am really excited for. This needs to be hand drawn, and this needs to be fucking peak. I can't wait for this. This is gonna be so funny.
All right. Hear me out. I think Wile E. Coyote takes this one.
He should. I'm pretty sure like Looney Tunes scales higher than Hanna-Barbera.
Well, hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that based on what,
Well, no, he would. He would be faster than Tomcat based on like the last Space Jam movie because he was literally able to react and fuck with somebody who could control time. And then on top of that, you have the absurd feats in the comic, and you have the also other absurd feats from the first Space Jam movie. You know, the good Space Jam movie.
I kind of forgot all the stuff Tom did. That's because Tom doesn't really do much. So I'm not even sure how this is even a really matchup. I think the matchup is that they keep losing to their prey, I guess is the logic. But it's a fun matchup. I'm looking forward to it. There should be no issues with that matchup like there were with this one, as far as I know. It's very straightforward.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to tell you this right now. From what I know of these characters, it's either going to be a Shaggy not Shaggy, a Scooby and Courage situation where they're gonna say like neither can kill each other, or Wiley's gonna win because he can just like tank more.
If we get a fucking inconclusive after this fucking matchup, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be straight up honest.
You know what? I'm gonna place a little bit of a prediction right now. I think the way this is gonna end is that both of them get fucked up, and you're just gonna have Jerry and the Roadrunner laugh at them.
I could see that happening. But wait, I think the difference between Wiley and his prey is lower than Jerry and Tom. It is. Tom does have crossovers like Scooby-Doo, so he might have a chance.
You don't even have to do that. The problem is that like you have to deal with everything the Roadrunner can do. Because while Wile E. Coyote is great for durability, you have to worry about speed when it comes to the Roadrunner.
Because for all intents and purposes, Wile E. Coyote can keep up with the Roadrunner for a portion of time.
He can consistently keep up with the Roadrunner. And he can react to the Roadrunner.
I'm pretty sure the Roadrunner is slower than Speedy Gonzales. I know it's really random to say, but I'm just...
Would that even matter? Because like Tom would compare, because he's had crossovers and would compare to Sylvester, and Sylvester has been able to keep up with Speedy.
Tom and Jerry and Speedy. Did they ever cross over? I'm just curious. I don't think they did.
You need Sylvester.
Well, Sylvester does have something with Speedy Gonzales over here, but I can't watch that because for obvious reasons, copyright issues. Oh man. Wow, fuck me. I was not expecting this live stream to be 2 hours long. I thought this was going to be a nice, easy, 1 hour live stream. I was going to go play fucking Helldivers 2 after this, but I might not even now. It's super late in the fucking night. I might just go to sleep after this. Yeah, I was not expecting this to fucking grate my fucking, to fuck with my gears this fucking hard. This was bad. Okay, no, let me be fair. On a whole, I think the episode is good. It's ruined by the ending and everything I've learned about Gurren Lagann in this stream. I now understand why the only characters people talk about outside of power scaling are his brother and the red-haired girl. Because Simone is a fucking joke. Well, it certainly has been a Dead Pal stream, lol. It's 5:37 a.m. where I'm at. It's almost morning. Jeremy, why aren't you getting sleep, Jeremy? Bad, Jeremy. Imagine not defending Edward.
The problem with this fight in itself is if you even have a lick of context, a lot of this shit should not fly.
Again, I can hear you guys rambling about it all night. It's always a joy. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. I've just woken up. Good. Go defend super if you're not working. I think we're losing the war. Well, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it looks like one of the regulars who shows up every now and again didn't enjoy it. So, I'm sorry about that. But these are just these are the honest takes I'm giving. I'm not filtering any of it.
Who didn't enjoy it?
I think Dark Lord was getting a little upset about how we were responding to it, so he kind of just dipped. He was responding strong at the start, but then he stopped.
Was it the story stuff?
No, he left I think before that point. The scaling they mostly gave for Kyle was for Green Lantern, not White. I just woke up, time to play LOL. Lost my first match, won against the lobby. Lost the game because 6-12 Jack. I mean, Aphelios, Divine Creator. Yeah. Sorry, Newman, I didn't get to send you the last drawing prompt. I'll send it to you tomorrow, first thing in the morning. It'll probably just be another card art for another store setup. Because I do need to figure out the manager deck there. And yeah, I think, unless Kyle has anything else to say, I think we're good calling it there.
No, like I've pretty much said my piece for a series that I've seen once, and for a character that I've never heard about, but I've ended up completely agreeing that he's had his win stolen from him, like complete highway robbery. Because that's the only way you can explain this matchup in a nutshell. It's highway robbery.
Yeah, no, this ain't it, Chief. This ain't it, Chief. All right, so with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the next stream or video. Take care, everybody. Have yourselves a nice night.